seen your reports, and it amazes me that you've allowed CARE to come into our public schools and begin to implement pro-Islam curriculum. What's next? Teaching them about the 5 pillars or the conversion prayer?
Okay, thank you very much.
Dude, I'm going to go. You're going to have to drag me out of here. Yeah. Is that what you consider educating? How does your organization like CARE with ties to terrorists like Hamas have an ear of this board?
Sir, we've got to ask you to
whatever.
conclude.
How does you actually allowing them to implement its propaganda and hate speech into our schools in an effort to brainwash the minds of the young? The Muslim and its followers have gracefully hidden their political agenda under the veil of religion. Yeah, I get it, you guys. You know what? You guys are hypocrites, and you guys should protect your children.
Page 3 now, the Islamization of our schools. It is unfolding in Southern California right now. In the San Diego Unified School District, the school board is submitting to the Council on American Islamic Relations. San Diego public schools will be promoting the radical anti-American ideology that is called Islam.
If you want students to learn about Islam, then make it an elective, not a primary course topic. Secondly, if you truly say this, this is not about the religion of Islam, but primarily about anti-bullying, then make it about all students, not just one particular demographic group, because that's what's happening. The bullying of those of Christian faith continually are targets on and off campus.
Thank you.
Finally,
thank you very much.
Everything CARE, who you have aligned and partnered with, supports is everything against the United States Constitution, so wake up.
The biased reviewing and vetting of materials related to Muslim culture and history in media centers and classrooms as though it's missing somehow. Number 2, restorative justice approach to deal with bullying incidents like talking circles in lieu of mental health services, apparently. 3, the district establishing formal partnerships with CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is partially funded by the terror group Hamas. The series of professional development training related to awareness and advocacy for Muslim culture. Why single out Muslim culture? And 5, the Islamic religious practices and accommodations in schools. If the district is making these accommodations, then shouldn't they provide accommodations for kids of all religions?
Sharia law is not a religion. It is a theory by desperate, cruel men against women. We cannot support that type of action in our schools, in our cities, or in our nation. You have given your alliance to people that are against our own Constitution. It is wrong. Sharia law is despicable and not acceptable in this country. You women especially should know that women's rights are very, very important to all of us. When you voted for this policy, it was terribly wrong, and you should reverse it immediately. You are working against our American Constitution, and that is wrong. You've given your loyalty to the enemy. CARE is an arm of terrorists.
All true. So tax dollars used to indoctrinate American school children about the wonders of female genital mutilation, honor killings, and submission to Allah. Marvelous. Fits right in with freedom and liberty and Judeo-Christian values, right? Wrong. However, fortunately, there is pushback, strong pushback. You saw some of it, not only from parents, but from Constitution-minded organizations that are threatening to sue. Joining me now from San Diego, California, President and Chief Counsel of the Freedom Conscious Defense Fund, Charles LiMandri. Charles, Ramadan 2017 is a couple, 3 weeks away. Do you envision the San Diego City School District celebrating Ramadan?
Well, they're suggesting they're going to. They're going to feature it on their calendar, which they haven't been doing for other major religious holidays, such as Christmas or Easter or Passover. And they said they're going to, at least eventually, implement a program where they could have events on campus for Muslim students in conjunction with their holidays. So, yes, in answer to your question, that's the direction they're heading.
Side note, I believe there were reports from the school board, if you talk to the people on the school board, that at that particular meeting where parents sounded off, I'm sure there were some parents in favor, but it looked to me there were a lot of pushback. They were trying to insinuate there was virtually no pushback to this?
That's what the president of, or excuse me, the chairman of the San Diego Unified School District has said, Mr. Barrera, but of course there is pushback. You heard it for yourself. We've been contacted by some of the parents of those students who want to see formal action taken, and that's what we're in the process of doing. So to suggest there's no pushback is absolutely wrong.
And why not Buddhism or Hinduism or something? Why Muslim? And the answer is CARE. CARE has an agenda, and the San Diego Unified School District is falling for it, unfortunately, and CARE does have ties to radical. It's a radical front group in and of itself. Its mission is to radicalize, that is, Islamization of this country. And unfortunately, the school board is falling for it. Now, you wrote a letter to the school board saying, hey, listen, guys, you are violating the United States Constitution, and we're going to go after you if you don't stop this nonsense. What are the core arguments? If you do file suit, what would your core arguments be?
Well, one of them is, as you've already indicated, there's an entanglement here between the government, the public school system, and an organization that ostensibly calls itself a religious organization. It's obviously very political and ideological as well. But you couldn't imagine the school district forming formal ties with any other religious affiliated group like the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops or an evangelical organization. But yet they're doing that with CARE, and there is the added problem, as you also mentioned, that CARE has been identified with various other extremist groups like Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood, and this has been pointed out by the FBI in various court cases. So why, of all organizations, would they pick CARE, which by its own admission is dedicated to spreading the influence of Islam throughout the United States? We're talking about less than 1% of the United States population is Muslim. Over 70% is Christian. Why the big focus all of a sudden on Islam as being important to indoctrinate public school children into its basic tenets? And why are they using anti-bullying as a pretext to do that when there's no real evidence that it's necessary? One, there's already an anti-bullying program for all students that should be implemented regardless of religious belief or ethnicity or anything else. Right. But two, the district's own statistics show that in the last half of last year, out of 130,000 students, there were only 7 incidents of bullying on the basis of religion, and it doesn't even break it down as to what religion. So as far as we know, no Muslim students have been bullied, but certainly no more than 7. Now, would that justify a wholesale change in the curriculum, which they're calling a comprehensive and holistic approach to introduce students into both the tenets of Islam as well as the whole culture of Islam? You're going to change the curriculum and the culture of the school based upon a pretext that a handful of students at most claim they're being bullied. And what does that bullying consist of? It doesn't even get into those kinds of specifics. So this is a pretext. It's a pretext to basically shut up anybody who wants to speak differently. And you could sense it at the school board. They were shut down. And it is an advocate of one religion over another, which is a clear violation of the Constitution. When we zoom out, though, Charles, and you look at the big picture, we say on this program repeatedly, and I firmly believe that Islam is not a religion, it's an ideology. Right. And that's what these people, I believe they're missing. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're missing that point. They're naive here, and they believe it's just a religion. But you and I know, and millions of other Americans know, it's not a religion, it's an ideology. Right. It's a political system. It's an ideological system. I mean, obviously, there's some Muslims who are looking at it in terms of theological beliefs regarding an afterlife or whatever. So I'm not sure we can say that there's no religious content to it. But I think the people that are pushing it are doing it for political and ideological purposes, and I think the school board, you know, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think they're leftists, and I think they're probably contrary to the Judeo-Christian form of government and civilization that we built our nation around, and they want to change it. And this is one way for them to do that, and I think we don't want to be naive about that fact. And they're a bunch of cowards. Right. We invited them on this program. We invited them just to have a comment so we can include in this segment, and they refused to do so. So that is on the record now. Sure. And you're going to file a lawsuit probably within a matter of days? Yeah, either later this week probably or next week at this point. We're finishing up our legal research on it. We're looking at all the cases around the country, but as you indicated, we feel very strong about the fact that it is an unconstitutional entanglement of government and a potentially religious organization, that the purpose is pretextual. And the third major point you mentioned is they're showing an unconstitutional preference for one religion over other major world religions.
Well, good luck in the lawsuit. Keep us informed. I'm sure there are millions of Americans who support your effort, because it is true that Islam and the United States Constitution are mutually exclusive. They cannot survive together. It's one or the other, and I happen to choose the Constitution. Charles, thank you.
You're welcome.